Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, I hate this game. I hate this game. You're an arse. Shame I don't have the N64 version, actually. Wasn't there a game similar around the same time on the N64? Here it is! Mario Kart 64 was possibly the most popular racing game on the N64, but I never owned it, so I was never swept up in the whole Mario Kart 64 craze. However, one of the very first games I ever played on an N64 was Snowboard Kids, and I loved it. Not only did I prefer it to Mario Kart, but I actually bought an N64 so I could get the game for myself. Thing is, Mario Kart has come a long way since then. Snowboard Kids did get 2 sequels, but Snowboard Kids 2, which was on the N64, was never released in the UK, and SBK on the Nintendo DS didn't do particularly well, so let's see if the original still holds up. Snowboard Kids is essentially Mario Kart 64 on ice, but has several aspects that make it a bit more interesting, like having an actual plot. 5 friends have an argument about which one of them is the best snowboarder, so they have a series of races to show who the best is. Okay, so the story is kinda lame, but then the game goes and ruins all of that by allowing you to change character between races, so you'll end up with each character winning roughly the same amount of races, which completely destroys the object of having the competition in the first place, but what the hell, will roll with it. To quickly sum up the game, at the start there are 5 characters to choose from with a 6 to unlock, and each character has different attributes. You start off with 6 courses with 3 more to unlock, one at a time if you come first on all previous races. You can choose between 3 snowboards with each board having 3 levels, as well as having 3 other boards to unlock and buy. Come first on all 9 levels, you unlock Shinobi as a playable character, as well as being able to buy the best snowboard in the game. So let's have a look at exactly what you'll be going through to unlock such an awesome board and character. Of course, the track starts off fairly simple and straightforward, but grow in difficulty. It's not long as in the second track before there are a few places you can fall off and spend several agonising seconds yelling at the game to hurry up and put you back on the course. Then shortcuts start appearing. If it seems as though I'm struggling with this, it's because it's a racing game. There's not exactly a lot to talk about. You win a race and move on to the next one. While it is different to Mario Kart, it isn't afraid of a bit of Mario Kart syndrome, where just before the finish line, you get hit by an opponent's weapon, overtaken with no chance of recovery, causing you to miss out on first place and once again yell at the game. Which leads us nicely into the next section, the weapons you can use. You can purchase weapons by hitting the shops on the course, and each one costs 100 gold, so you have to either collect the coins on the course or do tricks. The red boxes give you projectiles, and the blue ones give you assisting items like speed boost, rocks people can fall over, or a ghost that targets the person in first place and slows them down. I have no idea. Of course, some weapons are more useful than others, and there's nothing more satisfying than hitting someone and causing them to fall off the edge of the course. The courses themselves are pretty decent, my favourite being the Foggy Silver Mountain, closely followed by Dizzyland, which is a disused amusement park at night, though I hate those damn teacups. Back in the day, I played this quite a lot with my friends, and I remember Sunset Mountain being quite popular among them, so it's good there are plenty of fun tracks, as you'll be grinding yourself silly to afford all the boards. Aside from the starboard, there's the weird glass board thing that even the game states is useless because turning it is absolutely horrendous, and there's the featherboard that is extremely light, so you can perform tricks in places you wouldn't normally be able to and gain extra money. Unless you get screwed over, come last and lose it all. That's about it for the main game actually. Luckily there are a couple of other things to do to earn some cash in the skill games. Here there are 3 challenges: speed game, shot game and trick game. Speed game has you collect speed fans as you travel down the mountain. The faster you are and the more fans you get, the more money you get, as well as having your 5 best times recorded, even if you don't want to be reminded of it. Shot game has you shooting snowmen. You have an unlimited amount of ammo, but you can only fire 10 shots at a time, and you have to wait for one of the shots to hit something before you can take another shot. The more snowmen you hit, the more money you get, and once again your 5 best scores are recorded. Trick game, as you can probably guess, has you score points for doing tricks. The more points you have, the more money you get, and once again your top 5 scores are kept, as well as being the place the featherboard is unlocked. There is a time attack mode where it's just a case of doing 1 lap in the fastest time, and surprise surprise, it stores your 5 best times, but you don't get any money for doing it. Ultimately, you'll probably just end up doing the same courses and moves over and over again to get as much money as quickly as possible, but sure enough, all that hard work will pay off. Eventually, you'll have the awesome ninja that is so cool he backflips onto the chairlift. You'll have bought all of the amazing boards to destroy your opponents, and maybe even dominated the scoreboards on the skill games, so what do you get for all your trouble? Absolute sod all. Seriously, once you've unlocked and bought the special boards, there is nothing worthwhile left to do, so the game is pretty short, and it's a bit of a slap in the face that you get the best character and unlock the best snowboard to then buy once you've essentially proved that not only are you good enough to not need them, but you now have no use for them whatsoever. Thanks, game! What's even more of a kick in the face is that there is actually a cheat which I could always remember the buttons to that unlocks everything straight away, and considering how large the save file is, you're probably better off just using the cheat. All that's really left to talk about is the multiplayer, which is still a lot of fun. It can take new players a little while to get used to how the game plays, but it can still provide some really close matches with some surprising results. The AI of the computer players isn't amazing, so the multiplayer races are a bit more action-packed and friend-ruining. I guess this is where having the special boards can come in handy, but seeing as every non-computer player can use them, it kind of defeats the object of achieving something awesome to give you the advantage. Although the game is relatively short and there's not a lot to do once you've bought the 3 special boards, it's still a lot of fun to play. Granted, it can screw you over and cause some frustration, but it's just enough to make that eventual victory that much sweeter. Now, 16 years after its release, Snowboard Kids is I just can't do it. I've thoroughly enjoyed playing the game again after so many years, but it's just not as good as I remembered it being. The limited number of tracks would be okay, but there's no difficulty settings to change things up a bit. The tracks are quite long, but it's not fast-paced enough to keep the entire track entertaining, so it can sometimes become a little bit dull and tedious. There are a few things to do aside from the main game, but they're not worth doing. The multiplayer helps, but ultimately, the game's just not as good as it was back in the day. It gets silver, not gold. See you next time.